it's Jenny McGarvey, and I'm back with you again today to share how I planned this week in my memory planner. As you can see, I've already printed out some of my photos on my Canon Selfie using the Pick Frame app to get multiple photos on each 4x6. And now I'm using my paper trimmer to trim down the photos to the correct sizes and placing them in the general vicinity of where they might go when I'm finished with them. I choose their location based on the date of the photo that's taken. I'm not too particular for generic photos, just the ones that have really specific dates that I try to stick to pretty closely. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove the left side from the discs just so I have a nice flat work surface to work with and I can decorate and do all those great things. So as you can see, I have the photos where I'd kind of like them to go or where I'm thinking about. And I'm going to start looking through some of the bits and pieces from the May 2017 Hip Kit Club Project Life Kit. I'm going to go through all the different cards and choose the cards that will coordinate together in sort of a pink and orange type color scheme. It's not the only colors that I'll incorporate, however, it will be the majority, like kind of the backbone of the color palette, if you will. I'm loving that marble card, that 4x6 card, and it's really sort of the premise of what I'm sort of building the overall layout around. So now I'm going through the ephemera, the little bits and pieces of the die cuts to choose ones that will definitely coordinate, and then I have a secondary pile of ones that I could consider if I should need them. Now I'm really loving that tag, and I know that I want to add something a little bit larger to the left-hand side since I don't have any plans on Monday, and I know I can use that area for some embellishment. Now I'm going through the custom or exclusive wood veneer that are in the embellishment kit and looking which ones will work for this week as well. I just need words and that will go with the overall feeling of the week, which is kind of like a euphoric and really fun week. There was a lot of really great stuff going on, and so I just need little bits and pieces that will reflect that. Now with the wood veneer, I can be a little bit more adventurous since I don't need them to stick to a basic color palette. Now I'm going to sort of get rid of all of the little bits and pieces that I've chosen and put them in piles around my page just so that I can make sure that I refer back to them. Now I just adhered down my very first photo and I'm going to pull out this little label sticker from the Chamel sticker book that's included, and I'm going to use that to write the activity for Tuesday. Now obviously I'm just using those lines that are in the planner as guidelines since I do have that particular little label hanging over the edge into Monday. But it works out okay since I didn't have any activities or plans on Monday. But I did keep the photo on Tuesday, so it's pretty obvious that that was a Tuesday activity. Now I'm using my Tombow Mono Twin pen. It's a permanent marker, a really fine tip on one side and a broader tip on the other to write on this surface. And I really love the way this pen writes. Very excited about using it. And then I'm adhering down the wood veneer, layering it on top of both the photo and that die cut that I'm using right there, just to jot down a little bit about that particular activity that is pictured. Now I'm fairly satisfied with how that is, and I'm going to move on now from that. I'm looking through this picture book to see what do I have. Actually, it's not a picture book, it's a sticker book, to see what I have that will work, not only because it coordinates, but it also will allow me to make note of the activity. I'm going to break out one of my planner stamps and I'm going to just ink that right up, and it has that little open edge where you can put a time or an icon. I'm just simply going to use it to be able to place it flush against my photo. Now I used my Tombow Mono adhesive to adhere my photo down to the page, and once again I'm going to go back through the sticker book looking for a sticker that'll work for writing down the activity that is pictured on Wednesday afternoon. And I found one which is super awesome, and so I'm just going to go ahead and write the activity right on top of that sticker. Now I'm primarily finished, but I need to measure the boxes. Now you'd think, oh my gosh, it's April. Haven't you figured that out yet? I have, but I still like to measure it just to make sure that I'm not remembering it wrong, because quite frankly it would be much more annoying to have cut it wrong than it would be to measure it once again. Now I'm going to layer on top of that one of these stickers, and these have a really cool paper tape texture, very much like traditional Japanese washi tape or like a masking tape. And I love that. It really just adds that extra little bit of texture to the overall layout. And I'm really loving that black contrast. It's really definitely draws your eye right in. And with the layering of all the different little pinks right there, it's pretty fun to have that black pop. Now it's time to move on to the right hand side, and again I have my photos already printed out, and for this one picture of my car I'm going to go ahead and just trim around the outside of the actual car. It's kind of got that 80s sort of crazy thing going on where you used to cut out actual little things and stick them to stuff, but I love it. I think it's a really fun and very, very playful way to add things to my memory planner, and I just love the way that it ends up. So I used the mono adhesive to adhere it down to the bottom of the page, and now I'm going to get these alphabet stickers out of this sticker book, and right underneath at the bottom I'm going to spell out the text, and you'll be able to see it here in a second. It's so hard to remember sometimes with some of these little lower edges that I need to make sure it's pushed up so you can see it. But so I'm just staggering the colors, making sure that it's definitely very multicolor and fun, and just spells out what I need it to say right there underneath. And I think it's just a great way to make all of it tie in together. It brings a whole lot of color, but it also is very functional in that it just lets me spell things out without having to handwrite it. Now you can see that I am adhering down that Friday morning photo also, and I'm going to use it as an opportunity to do a little bit of layering as well with a label sticker for the activity. Now again, I'm referring back to all the things and also pulling out another one of those die cuts, and that's actually going to be for my Thursday afternoon activity, even though it's layered ever so slightly into Friday. But remember, those are just suggestions, those lines. They're not, oh, I must, they're not rules. So now I don't like that little last bit of the marbled paper, so I'm going to pull out a different little journaling card from the Project Life kit and use that to adhere right there in the Thursday afternoon spot. And I just love the playfulness of that pattern. It's really fun, it's colorful, and it coordinates really well. And quite frankly, you could use just about any other color at this point since there are so many included right there in that piece of paper. Now I'm just going to continue to look through because I need something that I can write on top of that photo at the top of my new car, and I wanted to be able to write the appointment right there as well. And those stickers included in that Chamel book are really perfect for this. There's actually a lot of things that work really well for planners. Now I'm going to punch out with my circle punch this photo of my son playing baseball, and I did leave one edge straight so that it could sit flush with the line. And I love that effect. I think it really makes it feel very linear and modern, and I like that a lot, especially when there's so much other layering and all these other things going on. This gives it that straight edge that sometimes my eye craves after having so much layering and all of the different sort of not so linear and straight. Now I just laid down a sticker and then right next to it wrote the book club, which is really fun and actually very simple compared to the rest of this layout since I didn't do that a whole lot, but I really do like the way that it ended up over there, especially with this little layered cluster that you're going to have right here with the photo and then the stickers and then also eventually the die cuts as well. Now, as you can see, there was that placement of that die cut that I just referenced. I knew it was really cute. I knew it would go well here in that little cluster, but I just didn't know how to sort of tie the whole thing together. So I placed the die cut there and just looked at it for a little bit because sometimes that's what I need to do in order to make it all work and all come together. And I think the kind of the icing on top is this little wood veneer word where I can add it and layer it together, and it just all sort of works just the way that I wanted it to work. However, I'm not adhering it down right away because I just want to make sure that it's what I was kind of thinking of before I did that. Now I'm just stamping just a couple of quick little things to notate the last couple of events that I need to make note of here on Saturday. And it can be really fun to find stamps that work with all of these really pretty embellishments and keeping it really, really simple because obviously there's lots of fun things already going on, and I don't want those to compete with the wood veneer and the die cuts and all of those things that I have added right here. Now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the information that's necessary with those little stamped elements, and so then I'm finished with the actual planning portion of this week. And then again, I'm going to go ahead and add the adhesive to the back of that little journaling card that it's not a journaling card, it's a decorative card that I added right there. Now I'm finished with most of that, so I need to pull that out of the actual book away from the discs so that I can finish up. Sometimes it's not as big of a deal on the right hand side to leave those things because my hand doesn't have a problem with the discs, but I still like to pull it out for journaling and for those types of things just to make sure that I don't have any problems at all. Now I'm going to use my self-healing mat and my ruler to draw a few lines for journaling right there. It's my favorite way to add journaling. I love the way that it looks, and I did try with some colored lines last week. I was really living on the edge there, but I still came back to the black and white this week since the color palette was a little bit more pastel and a little bit more springy, and I knew that the black was probably the best way to go. Now I'm just going to finish up with the journaling, and then I'm getting closer to being finished. And I can still see a little bit of space where I need to add just a little bit of something so it has that more deliberate look, because at this point I feel like some of the white space looks like it's unintentional versus intentional. So now I'm going to go ahead and trim up this last little bit from the journaling card, place the mono adhesive on the back, and then put it down here in that lower left hand corner, just because then it ties that little bit into the rest of the page a little bit better. And then over there in the upper left, I like that wood veneer there very much, and then I'm going to add the little enamel dot, but I still feel like a little bit of something is missing and like I could tie this all together just a little bit better. So I kind of looked through my stash a little bit, and I remember that I have these really pretty pink doilies and that maybe a little trimmed piece right there would work. Now this one's a little bit big, but if I trim it down, it might work just perfectly. So that's it for me for this week with my memory planner. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, let's leave it in the comment box below, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thank you so much for watching, and make it a great day.